Good evening, Malaysia, and good morning, USA. Welcome to the Gratitude Talk Show. It is another month have passed, and we are doing this. Right, Rick, would you like to say hi to all our listeners today?
Good evening, Asia. Good morning, USA. It's great to be back. We have an amazing schedule for everyone today. Lots of fun topics, so excited to share.
Okay, great. Rick, would you like to tell our listeners to share as much as possible to our other users so that other people can benefit from this?
Yeah, I think the MDRT philosophy, the Gratitude Talk Show philosophy, is to share and give back and help as many people as possible. Lim and I do this every month, and as much as we can, we try to educate and help others. I think being in financial services for over 15 years, I wish 15 years ago we had what we're doing today. So it's great that we're learning and sharing ideas with each other, and especially the people that are currently watching. Feel free to ask us questions, invite some of your coworkers, your peers, your friends, and I think in this world, we can all share ideas and we can all learn from each other.
Great, thank you, Rick. So, as what Rick says, please share out to as many of your colleagues and friends as possible. We need some energy to do this continuously, month after month. It's not easy to set up, such a setting and get things rolling every month, right? So we need some love. If you can show us some love and say hi to us in our chat, that would be fantastic, right? Hi, Kim Fang. Kim Fang is a good old friend. Right, so we can see quite a lot of you is there already. Show us some appreciation, show us some love. Share to as many people as possible in your group, the colleague. Today we're going to talk about a topic that will bring you a lot of sales, right, Rick? So today's topic is very interesting. Today's topic is about relevant sales idea, income replacement workshop, right? So relevant sales idea is key to open up a niche market, be it the professional or SME owners, right? Now, if you have a solution to their problems, you will write the case. Now, this week, we will discuss about income replacement idea, using some simple sales idea and script to bring out the importance and sense of urgency to must have a disability benefit or a critical illness policy for business owners and professionals. So stick around with us. This is how we're going to do this. We're going to do this in two parts, right, Rick? The first part, we're going to ask ourselves some questions and we're going to answer you those. We're going to do those sessions with Rick. We're going to have a structured way to explain what is income replacement, how do you implement income replacement, what kind of product you should use, and also a simple sales idea from each of us that is proven to have sold millions of dollars of policies throughout our career that can actually help you to help your clients. And from there, we will actually, on the second half of the show, we will actually pick up some questions from the audience as usual, and we will pick up normally about 10, 15 questions. We will answer all your questions as we can if time permits, and we're going to run it through, all right? So, as I can see now, we have quite a number of people watching us, but it's not enough. We need more people watch the show to give us more energy. It only makes sense if more people actually comes onto the show and comes and watch this, right? So if I can ask of all your help is to share out this show to as many people as possible and get them to actually come on, right?
What's interesting is recently a peer friend from MDRT had watched our show or accidentally joined, and he said the content was incredible. It was amazing. And if you think about it, for all of you that are either MDRT members or aspiring to be MDRT members, the content that we share every month is almost as good as the content you and I will go to MDRT annual meeting and learn. You're learning from two of the top of the table producers that specialize in different areas. So I think in life, it's about selfless serving and giving back. So if there's anyone that you think will benefit either needs a little extra motivation, energy, ideas to get to MDRT, or at MDRT and needs some ideas to get to COT, or COT and needs to get to TOT, like Lim. I think it's very important for us to share this show and share this idea with others.
Hi. Some of the important people or the familiar faces that we saw. Fuji from Singapore. Fuji is the country chair of MDRT Singapore. Hi, Fuji.
Hi, Fuji. My wife and I would love to go to Singapore. She always talks about how beautiful Singapore is.
Yeah.
So nice.
Before you go to Singapore, come to Malaysia. It's bigger, I promise you.
Sure. I've never been to Malaysia. I've heard the people and food are amazing. So love to go to Malaysia too.
All right. So before we start, I just want to have one small little things to ask the audience. There's about 26, 30, 40 of them. It's fine. I just want to ask this question. How many of you is going to the annual meeting in Boston? Right? How many of you is going to the annual meeting in Boston? If you know, if you have an answer for me, can you just say if you're going, type going. If not, if you're going, type going. Right? If you're not going, then say you're going to global conference.
If you go to MDRT annual meeting, you get to touch Lim's hands. You get to meet him in person, the legend in person. And then if you go to MDRT global conference, you get to meet Lim again in person. So that's incredible.
So I just want to spend a bit time to encourage people to go to the annual meeting. Now, I'm going to an annual meeting. I just booked my ticket. Rick is going to annual meeting. Rick has just booked his ticket. Now, I want to encourage some of you who say this, still thinking. If you're still thinking, don't think. Just decide it right now and go. Why? Because if you don't go, right, what are you going to do with that 20,000? You're going to save up. Buy a watch, buy a car, what? You cannot even buy a car with 20,000 ringgit, right? You cannot even buy a set of sport rim. So my suggestion for you, Sophia, go. Why? Spend that money on yourself, improve yourself significantly. I tell you, your 20,000 ringgit will earn you 2 million. Rick?
I think it's really important that we understand the importance of investing in the business and on the business. Many of us are so focused every day, either acquiring clients, growing their practice. But if you don't grow yourself, you don't grow your mind, you don't educate and learn more, how can you advance and help your clients further? So I think it's very important for many of you that are MDRT members to go, attend and learn, especially if you're doing the same thing you're doing every single day and the world is constantly changing. I promise you, you're gonna fall back and fall behind. So every single year, my personal practice, I spend over 100 hours either reading, learning, attending conferences. In about 2 weeks, I'm asked to speak at Harvard Medicine. So for many of you that are watching, listening, Harvard Medicine is asking me to speak about financial literacy to all their doctors. And the information I'm going to share with them is very high level, very complex, and it's very impactful for doctors. But if you think about it, how did I learn this? It's by constantly improving myself, by constantly sharing, learning. And then finally, we have clients that are Harvard doctors and say, Rick, wow, as much as we learn in Harvard, we don't know this stuff. Can you speak to other colleagues and peers of ours? And the content I learn is for example, at sessions like MDRT. So if you're not going to MDRT, that's okay. That's okay. Maybe the MDRT qualifications will come down over time so that they can reduce this so they're good enough to do a job. But I don't think so. I think 10 years ago or 15 years ago, MDRT qualification numbers have almost grown by like 30%. If you're not growing every single year, you're one day not going to qualify, and that's okay. So if you qualify, go. That's my humble opinion.
Yeah, if you qualify, go. Don't make the don't make the my mistake of not going the first year I qualified. I went on the third year I qualified. I regret that, because why in between there's 2 years I didn't qualify because I never went for the annual meeting. So if you do qualify, just go, spend the money, all right? Okay, it's okay as long as you guys are in the show. It's fine. We can learn together, right? Okay, Michael Ong is saying going good. So for those who are going, if I see you in annual meeting, please come forward, say hi. We will love to buy you a cup of coffee, right, Rick? Is a cup of coffee okay?
Of course, of course. I drink enough coffee every single day. I have 3 kids under 5 years old. People ask me, how do I stay energized? It's caffeine and coffee.
I promise you, come forward, say hi to us. We'll spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes with you, say hi, have a cup of coffee, all right? So come to Boston. We'd love to see you.
People do that because when there's 100 people, Lim is going to spend 15 minutes with each person. He's just going to stand outside the session, talk to one. I'm going to go inside the session and learn. So Lim made that promise. We are being recorded live. I can't promise that I'm going to sit and spend 15 minutes with every person. But just come. You can sit next to us if you want to hang out. During the breaks, we can share ideas. But yeah, I think it's very important that you guys go and learn.
Michael asked to have a picture with him when we're there. Sure, that can be done, right? A picture with Michael, no problem. Anybody who visits the Boston MDRT, if you see,
I'd rather take the coffee than take a picture with me. I promise you that. My picture is worth not much right now, but Lim's picture is worth a lot in Asia.
Okay, let's just 15 minutes gone. Let's just jump right on into the question. So today is very special. Today it is a workshop. Today is not a talk, but it is a workshop, an actual step-by-step workshop to teach you how to sell huge policy on income replacement idea. If you have not learned that throughout history, right, or throughout your learning experience, today we're going to try to show you how do we write millions of ringgit worth or even US dollars worth of policies through this idea. It's called the income replacement, right? So now the question number one is, what is the definition of income replacement? What and how do you define as a income replacement? Rick, you want to go ahead with that first?
Sure. I think especially for advisors to explain to their clients and prospects what income replacement is, you need to be able to connect the importance of the client's income. If a client does not understand the importance of their income, then they do not find it important to replace their income if, God forbid, something happens. So in the USA, I believe, versus Asia, the products and the definitions are very different. So I will share with you what income replacement means in the USA. So in the USA, the best product, in my humble opinion, is a product called disability insurance. Disability insurance is used where if, God forbid, something happens, we're sick, we're injured, accidents, illness, diseases, you're not able to perform the occupation duties that you are required, and your income is impacted, the insurance company will pay a claim and replace your income. Now, I know Lim and I were speaking earlier. In Asia, the product itself may be different from USA. In Asia, I think there's a lump sum payout. In USA, for example, my policies, it's a monthly payout. So to share with you, income replacement is important to replace the income of the individual. Now, if you can't explain the importance of an income to your prospects and clients, no one's going to talk about income replacement. So you need to connect what their income is doing for them. So I think about things like my income pays for my family's mortgage. If, God forbid, something happens to me and I have no income and I don't have disability insurance to replace my loss of income, I will lose my home. My kids will no longer go to private school. I will not be able to afford my nannies. My wife will not be able to stay home and be a stay-at-home mother and spouse for my children. She may have to go out there and earn 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 jobs to replace what I'm currently earning. If I'm unable to have an income, I'm unable to support my aging parents. If I'm unable to have an income, I'm unable to continue to invest in various businesses and save for my retirement. So the importance of income replacement ties back to the income. The income ties back to the lifestyle, the goals, the dreams, the concerns. So that's how we talk about income replacement. What about you, Lim?
It's very well defined. It's like a Webster dictionary, man. So now, for me, it's very straightforward. What is income replacement? Income replacement is about replacing your future potential income. You have aspiration, you have dreams that you want to fulfill. Much of these dreams are built on assumption. Let me just repeat that. On assumption that you have the ability to continue to make enough money throughout your working life. Your dreams and your aspiration is built on assumption that you can continue to work. Now, so because why those incomes will come in to build and achieve those dreams that you want. So that is the income you need to replace the future potential income that you need to replace. And when things happens, you cannot make enough money. If you're disabled, you cannot make enough money to fulfill those dreams. Those are the income that you need to actually insure. So for me, very simple. You have dreams, aspiration. You have which are built on assumption that you can continue to work and make money for those dreams as aspiration. What if one day you can't fulfill that assumption of being able to continue to work? Who is going to give you the income to fulfill those dreams and those aspirations? You need to insure against that odd of losing income, that odd of not being able to continue to work. So that's how I define it as income replacement. To insure against the assumption that you can continue to work. That's it. So that is my definition, right? So the second question that I'd like to ask you, Rick, under what circumstances can an income be replaced? How is it done in America?
Sure. I think the best ways of explaining that question is sharing with you specific stories. I've been doing this for over 15 years. I, on average, have 10 meetings a day, 50 meetings a week, 200 a month, 2,000 a year. 15 years, I've had over 20,000 meetings. So at Midas Wealth, we work with over 1,000 families. And I've unfortunately, have helped clients, especially on the replacement side. So I've had clients that have gotten disabled. So I remember I was an advisor for maybe about 3 years. And then my first disability claim was a 42-year-old bookkeeper. She sits in front of a computer. All she does is balance numbers for the business. She's been working at that same company for almost 18 years. And she developed lower back pains. She went to see a doctor, and the doctor had explained to her, because of your spinal cord is out of shape due to some medical symptoms, you cannot sit up for more than 6 hours a day in front of a computer. She was permanently disabled at 42 years old. She was only my client for a few years. She's only made a few years of premium payments. And because she's permanently disabled, my team and I at that point helped her file the claim with the insurance company, and they're still paying her a monthly payment today. At that time, she had minor. At that time, her company, her employer said, well, if you can't sit up for X amount of hours, we will transition you from full-time to part-time. But the insurance company's disability insurance payment on a monthly basis allowed her to continue the lifestyle pre-disability. So that's one example. Number two example, I had a 45-year-old executive. He was going home from work, driving the same way every single day. His route is the same. One day, as he was going home from work, he was going through, and someone sped through a stop sign and hit him, T-boned him in the driver's side. He was disabled. 18 months of physical therapy. The first 90 days, his company gave him 100% of his income. After 90 days, his company reduced it down to 60%. Unfortunately, a few months later, because his physical therapy was taking longer than the company wanted him to take, the company fired him, terminated him. He called me emotional and said, Rick, my company terminated me. I no longer have the benefit that my employer promised. I think I'm going to sue my employer. And I explained to him there's a very low chance that you would win because in America, companies can terminate you based on it's what is called you and I have rightful employment. We're at will. So I can leave an employer and not get sued, and an employer can terminate me and not get sued as long as it's a legal termination, right? So they just said that because he's unable to perform the duties of his occupation and he was an executive, they decided to go in a different direction and hire someone to replace him. And when they did that, they paid him a severance. But he was extremely disappointed. But his disability insurance continued to pay him for almost 2 years until he found a new job. That's my second example. My third example was this year. This year, a client of ours, she's 55 years old. She was diagnosed with cancer. Right now, we're still experiencing COVID throughout the country, throughout the world. She was diagnosed with cancer, and now I filed a disability claim for her this year. I had another client also this year. He's 37 years old, my age. I've been his advisor for almost 10 years now. He called me and said, Rick, I left America to go to a South American country to be here, but I've developed a cough, and I got checked out recently, and they said there's a lump in my chest. I have to go through chemotherapy. I filed a claim for him. So I just explained to everyone that's watching right now 4 claims. And you know what? The sad part is I've unfortunately experienced over a dozen claims. Majority of those claims, the client was under 50 years old. I think 80% of my claims were to clients that were under 50 years old. How scary is that? So I need people to understand that disability insurance or chronic illness is not, in America, is different from Asia. It's not just illness and diseases. Majority of the disability cases are due accidents and injury. And illness and diseases we cannot predict or control. So you have to understand the situations that disability insurance covers. Lim, what about you?
So basically, it's very different between countries, America and and the United States. In Malaysia, I can only speak on the Malaysian context. Okay, so if there's any other countries, Taiwan, in all these countries, please adapt this show into your own understanding of your law. All right. So now, what is the circumstances that an income replacement can be? What are the circumstances that can it be paid out? In Malaysia, basically, I practice my income replacement policy based on 4 products, 4 circumstances. Number one, if a person has a critical illness, one of those 45, 36, now has 185, something like that. So basically, in a rule of thumb, it's only 46, right? 45, 46 critical illness. Cancer, stroke, heart attack, failure of liver and all that. So those critical illness, once you're diagnosed, those you can use as a benefit for income replacement. Number one, why? When a person has cancer, 4th stage, 3rd stage cancer on chemotherapy, do you think he can still go to work, do paperwork, type in, clock in, and make that income? Of course not, right? He's on drips. What do you expect him to do? He's dying, correct? So number one is critical illness. Number 2 is disability benefit. Disability means total and permanent disablement. It is a bit different from US. It doesn't pay on nitty-gritty it has to be very clear-cut in Malaysia. Either it's 2 eyes blind, 2 hands severed, or 2 legs severed. It's not even broken, It has to be cut off, severed. That is very, very rigid on the total and permanent disability part, or a combination of either one. So this is generally in all Malaysian policies payable under disability. But then you have something more relaxed. It's called the accidental disability. If a person had an accident and had 1 eye blind, the policy can pay 100%. So those policies are limited to accidental only, and it can be a part to actually replace income for our clients, right? Now, Then there's this one company that I work for that has a special kind of disability. This is very different. This one, I haven't seen a contract written like this in any companies. Let's not say which company I'm from, but you guys go and guess, huh? So, the company's policies state this, under what we call occupational disability. If a person, due to an accident or illness, couldn't perform his work couldn't perform his job or his occupation by training, knowledge, and experience. Listen, by training, knowledge, and experience, the disability policy will pay up. This is very different from the rigid one, The rigid one is 2 eye blind, 2 hands severe, or combination. That one is very difficult to claim. It's like you had an accident, 1 eye blind, then the insurance company asks you to cut off the other hand so that you can claim. It doesn't make sense. But under the occupational disability, it does. So what happened if a doctor had a car accident and lost his memory? He gave back half his medical school back to his lecturer. He just lost that 5 years of studies. Do you think he can practice? Rick, do you think that guy can practice or not? As a doctor? No, he can't. If he can't practice one day, if he shows slight disadvantage or disability in practice, his colleague has a legal duty to report him. Within a day, he will be out of job. He will lose his license. He cannot perform. So, but if you buy a life insurance policy with a disability benefit that actually pays out on occupational, it will pay out. So let me just give you an example. This is a true story. When I first turned full-time, one of the clerks in my ex-company, she was very nice. I asked her, Esther, would you like to buy a policy? When you're new and young. And she said, Renan, you're new, right? Okay lah, I support you. At that time, Asian is like that lah. They support each other. So she bought a policy, not very big, small policy. This is about 80,000 life insurance with some critical illness, this and that. And after 18 years, we keep in contact, always keep in touch. Then she called me, Renan, I lost my job. This company, the ex-company, fired her after 22 years working there. Why? Because she developed severe rheumatoid arthritis. Her fingers just curl up, just like that. She came and see me, right? Her fingers is like that. She cannot move. She cannot type. She cannot do clerical work. The company let her go. She applied, OKU means disabled person's permit, the government gave. And she applied disability benefit from us. Because it's very gray, her mind is still okay, but her hands just couldn't do whatever she needs to do. She's a single lady, she's not married. And she told me, you know what, I have limited savings, I am very stressed. I said, let me just get this done for you, a disability claim. Let us try. It took us 3 months to get the reports ready from the government hospital and all that. And my company paid. My company paid her full, paid her full, the 80,000 with cash value. Plus, we waived her policy for the rest of her life. Means she doesn't have to pay for the policy anymore. She still has a 80,000 life insurance inside. So now, let me just bring to perspective, how does this policy help this lady? She's single, she's 54. She's nearly retired. She lives in a small apartment. Her living expenses probably about 1,500 ringgit a month will do because she's single. Now, 80,000, 100,000 paid out, it is not a lot to a lot of people, but it is a lot to her. It is a lot to her. Why? At her age, how do you expect her to go out and get another job? Right, Rick? It is close to impossible, correct? Single lady, you're not very educated, you can do clerical work, you can't even do simple clerical thing now. So she couldn't do that job. So what happened to her now is that she's relaxed at home. She's well, she's enjoying herself, goes to church and all that, and not worrying about money. That is what life insurance does. That is what long-term care benefit does. That is what we call income replacement does. You have a dream, you have a aspiration, but somehow life just whacked you in the head and you couldn't have enough time to continue to work to finish off that aspiration. And that's where insurance comes in and help you to finish off that last mile and give you a life that you want. So that is my explanation, Rick. So I would suggest everybody, if you have the chance, please go and sell out to all this. You do have some very, very good story, Rick, in helping your clients.
What's crazy as you share this story with me, you're describing true own occupation disability insurance in America. I've been doing this for 15 years. This product has been around for probably longer than I've been doing this. As I go to MDRT, as I have this type of session with many of you in Asia, and I sincerely mean this, whoever's watching in Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, Korea, China, Vietnam, Thailand, you name the country, your country's products are almost 40 years behind USA products. Now I truly understand why so many Asian countries ask advisors from USA, can you come to my country and explain to me all your products so that I can better serve my community? I really mean this. What you're describing is true own occupation disability insurance, which many of my clients have. So how I explain it is, Mr. and Miss Client, if God forbid something happens to you and you're unable to perform the duties of your occupation, a limb, you have a beautiful voice. You just can't use your hands anymore. You just can't walk anymore, but you have a beautiful voice. You record your voice and go sing on Malaysia Got Talent, and you make millions and millions and millions of ringgit or dollars. Guess what? You'll still get the disability income insurance because it does not impact the claim process as long as it's your true own occupation. You're unable to perform the occupation for your skill and specialty. So it's interesting you're saying that as if like, hey, Rick, hey, viewers, my company is the only one in Malaysia that has this. Almost every company in America has this.
Not really in Malaysia.
That's why I say many of you should go to MDRT and meet people from different countries. You're going to learn things in other countries that are 10 years ahead of you so that you can go 10 years faster, 10 years ahead. So that's interesting you're sharing the story. As I'm hearing it, I'm like, wait, that's not a unique product. That's a product that we have for so many years. So that's why we watch this and we need to share ideas, because Asia, and I sincerely mean this, when I went to Asia, like Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, your MTA is beautiful. Your MTA is beautiful. Hong Kong, Japan, Korea. I will go back there because your MTA is beautiful.
What's
my wife MTA? And I will never. MTA is like the train system, transit.
Okay.
New York City MTA transit. I would not walk in there. I haven't walked in there for 3 years. It is disgusting. Disgusting. Ever since I had kids, my wife says, hey, should we take the train? It's faster. I say, no, I'd rather walk than take the train because it's so disgusting. So like the technology in Asia is so much more advanced than USA, but USA is so much more advanced in products than Asia. So there's so much that we can learn and share.
Yeah. And I can tell you, Rick, true occupational disability is unique to us. And until today, I haven't seen another company actually has this. Now, let me just put it this way for you. In perspective, right? Do you know that this same lady who we paid $100,000 on disability benefit has another policy from another company who she bought for 27 years old, for 27 years, and the policy has not paid, declined to pay. It's unique. Rick?
It's not only is it unique, it's also advisors or clients need to understand the definition of disability. That's why I talk to clients all the time. They say, well, this is priced here and this is priced here. And I say, well, there's a reason for that. This one, you have to be blind. You have to lose your arms. You have to get struck by lightning. And you have to get something really, really, really difficult for you to pay a claim. This one's priced here because hey, if I caught any disease, if I got into an accident, they're not going to say what type of accident, right? So it's all about cost versus value versus product versus definition. And like you guys can tell, I'm a person that anything I talk about, I read it, not just once, I probably read it like 10 times to master and understand it. So I'm not surprised that the client that you're talking about bought two products and one don't pay and one pays. I hear that story all the time in America, is because either the advisor doesn't understand what they're selling, or the client doesn't understand what they're buying, or they're buying something with low price but low claim probability, and they don't understand the uniqueness of claims calculated risk.
And once we continue to discuss about this, the audience will find out that there is actually a lot more things that is done in America that is not done in Malaysia or in Asia. And I think our underwriters and our actuaries really need to go to America and learn some of the products and start to implement it here, which is crazy, and it's going to help a lot of people, right? Now, so my next question for you, Rick, what is the rule of thumb to calculate how much income should be protected and should be insured? What is your take on that?
Okay. My take on that type of question scenario is multiple layers. When I do any type of recommendation for a client, I do an extremely detailed fact finder, and I do an extremely detailed analysis to create the financial plan. Now, I generally start by educating the client, asking them how important is it to replace your income if, God forbid, you get sick, injured, accident, illness, disease, and you're unable to perform the current occupational duties that you're currently doing. And if they say yes or no, I have to explain to them what they're understanding or not understanding. But once we come into an agreement, I explain to them, let's say a client makes 10,000 US dollars a month. I say, are you familiar with the benefits of your employer? Are you familiar with the benefits of your employer? Many of our clients are not. So I said, before I make any recommendation on how much you should have or should not have, I want to understand what's available to you today. Because in order for me to take a client to where they want to be, I need to understand where they are today. So then they send us their benefit booklet from their employer. And if I research, Lim, your benefit booklet from your employer is giving you 4,000 US dollar, but you're making 10,000 US dollars after taxes, I would say, Lim, there's a shortage gap of 6,000. Now, although there's a shortage gap of 6,000, when I explain to clients, you have a shortage gap of 6,000, first and foremost, can you survive and currently maintain the lifestyle you're currently having at 4,000? Most of our clients said, no, I'm losing half my income. So then I need to understand, what is the minimum expectation and lifestyle you need? They say, I need at least 6,000. So if I know that their benefit to the employee is 4,000 and they need 6,000, so option one is the minimum lifestyle expectation is 2,000 more. And then if they say something along the lines like, well, if I just get minimum 2,000, but I have to change my lifestyle, I don't want to change my lifestyle, I want to have 4,000, then we go 4,000. But then even if some people make 10,000 and they get 4,000 from work and they only need 4,000 to maintain their lifestyle, you know why people actually want the remaining 2,000? Is because they're saving money. They're saving money for their retirement. They're buying real estate. They're putting their kids to school. They want to go on vacation. It's not about minimum lifestyle. So I'll give you an example. It's fundamentally, once again, 10,000 is what they're earning. If they only get 4,000 to an employer, I know there's a shortage gap of 6,000. Then we slowly understand, do they want and need the entire 10,000? So when I started in financial planning in the USA, I started with maybe like 3,000 a month of US dollar disability insurance. Because when I started at 21 years old, 3,000 a month was enough. Today, I have over 50,000 US dollars in disability insurance per month. And you know what? I maxed it out. You guys heard of a previous session. I go back to the insurance company every year, every couple of years, and I say, hey, insurance company, this is my new tax return. I know I have this. I need this. And they're like, well, Rick, I know you need this. Why do you need this? Because I'm going to make a lot more money and I'm going to save a lot more money and I'm going to invest a lot more money. So max me out. I think in my career, I've increased my disability coverage, disability insurance, I think over 5 times in my career. So right now, I have the maximum amount the insurance company is willing to insure me in disability income insurance. And the truth is, if something does happen to me, which hopefully not, my wife and my kids' whole lifestyle will still change. It will still be very, very bad for my family because I can't get more than what the insurance company will max me out at. Lim, what about you?
Yeah. You know what? So can I ask you one question on top of what you just said just now? When you say 50,000 a month, means what? Gonna pay you for your whole life or what?
Sure, great question. So I have own occupation, 50,000 a month. So I have various plans, various benefits, but many of the plans, most of my benefits, it's till age of 70 years old. So 50,000 a month tax free times 12 months is 600,000. 600,000 from 37 to 70 is 33 years. 33 years of 600,000 comes out to 19.8 million. So that's how much benefits I have. $19.8 million US dollars.
They
So if
don't
I
pay
get to
you.
say,
They don't pay you 19 million straight off.
no, they don't pay a lump sum, as at least not that I'm aware of available in America. But what they will pay me is 50,000 a month after tax free till age of 70.
So
So that's how.
what happens if you die? Say if the person has cancer and after say 6 months he died of cancer, what happens to those money?
So if I die, remember
Not you,
disability
somebody
insurance
else.
and life insurance are totally different.
We
My
look.
life insurance, my life insurance is maxed out. My wife and kids will get about $22 million US dollars.
Okay.
22 million US dollars. And I'll tell you this, their lifestyle will still be not as good as I expect them to have if I was alive. If I was alive, right? So I got the maximum the insurance company will give me in disability income insurance. I got the maximum they'll give me in life insurance because I will be very transparent. Every few years, I invest more in the stock market. I invest more in my retirement plan. I invest more in real estate. I buy more other businesses. So if I think in my whole lifetime I'm going to make 22 million US dollars, I might as well go back to sleep right now. I might as well go back to sleep. I wouldn't wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do my workout, work as hard as I am, read, study, learn, master everything I'm studying to be worth $22 million US dollars. Absolutely not. But unfortunately, that's what I can have now. So as I make more money, as I grow more, as my tax return grows, I always increase my benefit.
All right. So you're the second person that I know that has. No, I think you're the guy with the most life insurance policy I know now. If you convert currency to currency, I know one guy who is 27 years old, 32 when I know him. I did a policy review with this guy, 32, 33. You know how much life insurance he has? He has 37 million ringgit. 37 million ringgit. It is very unusual for a 30-over-year-old Malaysian to have even 3 million, not to say have 37 million. Anyway, he said, what can I do? What can you do for me, Ronan? I say, for first thing, I think you're overinsured. Because the business that he owns and all these assets does support that. But when you are 37 million insured, right, not much of an insurance company is interested to insure you. There's too much money put on one person. But that is Malaysia. Malaysia is a bit different, huh? Okay? But my question for the audience is to say, now, if you are willing, share with us how much life insurance and critical illness you have. If you'll be ashamed if you have only 100,000 ringgit life insurance or critical illness, right? I don't have as much as Rick. I have close to 2 million ringgit in critical illness and also about 6 million life insurance. I don't make as much as Rick, so you cannot compare apple to apple. And
I
yeah,
actually don't make that much either. My wife and kids make more money than me. I work for them.
right. Now, but I have to be a bit different. But if I die today, with the lifestyle of my wife and my children, I think they're still going to be okay. They're going to be able to maintain the same style of lifestyle. And of course, it's not as good as what the father does, bring them overseas holiday every year, big cars and all that. No. But they maintain. It is comfortable. Every kid will go to college. Every kid will go to university. And we are comfortable. Yeah. So now my rule of thumb on how much to calculate how much income replacement should be insured with is very simple. It's not as complicated as Rick. I like to go the simple approach way. So I'm going to teach I'm going to just share with you the simple way. The first thing I do, if it's a middle income professional, so take example, a middle range engineer, junior doctor, or a apprentice lawyer, okay, that comes in maybe 5 years into his working experience, he makes less than 10,000. So these people normally, I would suggest, might as well you do a 10-year income on your, what we call your income replacement. So you buy a 10-year policy, either a critical illness or life insurance. So if the person makes 70,000, a middle income professional, he will buy 700,000 life insurance and critical illness. So that is my rule of thumb. Why 10 years? Because he cannot afford 20 years. First thing, right? Second thing is that 10 years, his income is 700,000. If you look at his level of spending now, you cut half, which is that would be the minimum that he needs, to actually survive. That 10 years of income that you place for him, it is enough for the next 20 years actually, if you put in the bank with receipts and all. Malaysia will pay you one lump sum. If you buy a 700,000 income replacement policy, will pay you 700,000 on the spot. That's it, today, right now. You don't have to die. You just have to have cancer, we pay you 700,000. You just have to be disabled, we pay you 700,000. You don't have to wait every month. No need to wait. One shot. Everything done on the table. If you die, we pay you life insurance again.
I think in America, the difference in products is what you're saying is something sound like accelerated death benefit. Accelerated death benefit for life insurance policies are available in the USA. So if I have a $10 million US dollar policy and I have diagnosed cancer, and then the doctor or the physician that says that I have less than 6 months to live, insurance companies will pay out an advanced death benefit earlier than me dying. But I think just the product is a little different. Disability insurance is only if you're disabled and they pay it monthly. But what you just said is if you're critically ill or diseased and you're going to pass away, then they will give what is called an accelerated death benefit to the life insurance if that's a rider available in your policy.
Ours is different. If you have a first heart attack, you didn't die, and you did an angio and it's okay, as long as the first heart attack, we pay you 700,000 upfront. Ooh, yeah, man. You can still go scuba diving and everything.
I'm just being very kind and nice by saying this. Ooh, that's not going to work in the USA. I'll tell you why. I don't know about USA versus Asia, but I know that based on body mass index, USA and Asia, height, weight is a little bit different. So I think if I were to take a guess, there's probably more heart attacks in USA than in Asia. That's why your product will not work in the USA, because insurance companies will lose a lot of money and probably go bankrupt. But yeah.
Oh, well, I'm normal in America. I can get my shirts. You're skinny.
So I will share this with you, which is kind of crazy. I just got a doctor health check, and I'm 37 years old. I'm pre-diabetic, and the doctor says I have high sugar and I have high cholesterol. And when I was younger, I had a little bit of high blood pressure. So like at 37 years old, and you know what they said? They said I'm slightly overweight. They say I'm slightly overweight. And I'm thinking to myself, how am I slightly overweight when I'm 5'7", 165 pounds? And they said, well, based on your body mass index versus Asians, in Asia, you're too big bone or too overweight. And I'm like, maybe it's different. So it's just, I think every country's, the measurements are a little different in health checks.
So let me just finish my question. So what is the rule of thumb for me? First thing, middle income professional, 10 years of his income. High earning professional, those who make 20, 30,000 ringgit, all right, say 20, 30,000 ringgit in Malaysia, those normally I bench them about 7 years their income. Why? Because they are high earning. A lot of high earning individual doesn't spend really a lot of money. It doesn't mean that you make 3 million, you spend 3 million, right? Correct? Probably you make 3 million, you spend 300,000. Correct? So I will bench them at seven years because that's the right premium they can afford through my experience, okay? And also they won't feel that too much of a burden to pay too big of a premium. Because if you look at it, if they make, say, 350,000 or 400,000 a year, 7 years is 2.8 million. 2.8 million of life insurance and critical illness can cost one person at the age of 35, right? Close to 10% of his income. About 40,000 to 45,000 ringgit a year. So it cannot be higher than that. So the ultra high earning professionals, these are the specialists, the doctors who makes 400,000, 300,000. Those I tell them, let's just focus on 5 years. You have so much money already. Let's just focus on 5 years, 10 million. Done. 5 years, 10 million. Anything happens to you, we pay you 5 years. It's more than enough money that your family needs. You know, we don't have to go the rule of 10 years, because it doesn't mean that you make 2 million a year, 4 million a year. You're going to spend 2 million or 4 million when you're disabled. It doesn't mean that, right? So the basic minimum spending, for me, to make it quick, your income, ultra high earning professional 5 years, high earning professional 7 years, the mid income professionals 10 years. So that is how I calculate. Right, Rick, anything to add, or I go to the next question? It's already 9:30, you know, we need to pick up questions.
Sure. Yeah. My process in your limb is very different. Very different. In
Very
fact,
different.
my process is so detail-oriented, I probably spend 10 times more time, but I'll share with you. If you learn my process limb, you'd be 2x TOT. 2x TOT. Because if I was your client, I would actually take your advice. But if I was my own client, I would not do the amount that you're saying. In fact, let's just say someone in 3 million ringgit only spends 1 million. Then what are they doing with the 2 million ringgit? Are they burning it? No.
Invest.
They don't spend it, but they might invest it and all those other things, right? Or they might invest it for their children's future. So let's just say if they make 3 and they only spend 1 and they put the 2 million under their mattress or burn it, then you're right. But if they take that 2 million and they're saying, I'm putting to my children's education plan, I'm buying a building to leave to my grandchildren, my grandson, my granddaughter, I'm starting another business for my spouse. Oh, I'm protecting all of it. I'm protecting all of it. If a client, and I say this, if you focus on the pennies, then you'll never focus on the dollars. I did an interview recently. They said, Rick, how come your second year, what's the biggest advice you give new advisors? And I said, my biggest advice I give new advisors is once you come out, you have to determine what's your hourly rate. What are you willing to do and not do? It's not return on investment, it's return on time, return of time invested, right? So I tell new advisors, hire an assistant. And then I think the person interviewing me said, well, new advisors cannot afford to hire an assistant. You know what I say? That new advisors cannot afford to make millions of dollars. Yeah. If you cannot afford to spend 10,000, you cannot afford, and you will never make millions. Okay. If you look at 10,000 like it's too big of a number, then don't ever talk to me about millions. You should not even have that come out of your mouth because unfortunately you don't understand the rules of money. So that's why I said. So my opinion about disability insurance is, hey, whatever you make, if you make X, you may want to protect X. If you don't want to protect X, you might as well go back to making half of X. Why are you working so hard to get promoted? Why are you working so hard? Because the truth of the matter is, when I was making $50,000 US, I was living a certain way, I driving a certain car, and I was still taking MTA, and I was watching the rats go by my feet, and I had no choice. But today, I don't have to take MTA. I don't have to take MTA. Because when you start making more money, you live in a nicer home. You start having your kids go to better schools. You live in a better neighborhood. You start expecting more in life. So I would not allow a client who says, okay, if you get disabled, are you okay going back 10 years and living half of life? Not me. But it's different. It's a different type of process.
It's a different type of process. I think the premium that you guys pay, as long as the person survives, you pay him every month. I think if the person has cancer and you pay him every month, right? But if the person survives, you pay. If the person dies, that's it. Thank you very much. See you next life.
They pay the insurance benefit.
They'll pay the life insurance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That approach, I think it will make sense. It will bring down the cost of insurance right down to the bottom because you don't pay if the person dies. And you pay life insurance after that.
Do you know what's crazy now that I think about it? So you're telling me, as I'm listening to you, that the product in Malaysia is too expensive. That's why people just do 5-year, 10-year, right? Correct?
It is
because
expensive.
they pay a lump sum. Sum. Is that right?
So if I insure a guy at 45, the guy needs to pay a premium to me at 170,000 US ringgit. It's 170,000 ringgit a year for a
So what do you do?
10-year plan.
You go, good. Then you go to your company, the head actuary, the head product designer, the head of the company, and you say, hey, do you want more business? And they're going to say, yes, I want more business. Then maybe you should start having the current product we have in Asia, and maybe we should design the product that they have in USA. If they have the monthly benefit, wouldn't it be cheaper? It would
Oh,
be cheaper.
it's going to be so much cheaper. Yeah.
So guess what? They have not one size fit all. They're going to have 5 options. So go to your head of your actuary or head of your product design and tell them, hey, let's not only offer a lump sum, which many companies in USA don't offer. Maybe we should offer a lump sum and a monthly, so that more clients can afford this product because there's a need. Guess what? They're going to open up the market and they'll be the pioneer of products in Asia. If you think your company just created true own occupation and they're the pioneer of Malaysia, then I will tell you them. They're probably like they're like 30 years late from USA. But if your company just come out with a monthly benefit instead of a lump sum benefit, think about it. Then more clients will be willing to get critical illness and disability insurance. That's why we have these sessions, because we're learning about products and design.
Yep. So now, what kind of product can be used? I've just said you can use critical illness, life insurance, early disability, disability benefit, or accidental policy to cover that. Now, sales ideas. Rick, you want to go on that with sales idea? Because I'm going to take a bit of more time to do my sales idea. Why don't you just go on with the sales idea first?
Sure. So when it comes to explaining disability insurance, I guess what I normally do, as I share with the audience, is connecting the importance of it. But I think people need to understand that a complete holistic financial plan is not just offense, offense, offense. It's about defense and offense. If you're not able to explain to your clients the importance of disability insurance, then in fact, you need to understand, and your clients need to understand, that statistic likelihood of being disabled versus passing away, it's much higher to be disabled than passing away. I think there are studies in the USA that shows that statistically, like a 35-year-old male has a 30% statistic likelihood of temporarily disabled and a 15 or 10 to 15% likelihood of being permanently disabled. So what I explain to my clients is saying, hey, I know you understand the importance of life insurance, but what's even more important than life insurance is disability insurance. Because without your income, which humbly speaking is your largest asset, nothing else can be funded. And then people say, well, do I need disability insurance? And I explain to them simply, you don't need it in the future. But right now, based on your profile, you may not only want it, you certainly need it. Because the 3 scenarios I tell people where we may or may not need disability insurance is, number 1, when our kids are adults. When our kids are adults, they are no longer our dependents. If today I'm 50 years old and all 3 of my kids are 20, 25, 30 years old, doing very well financially, I don't need disability insurance, because you know what? My kids are my disability insurance. But when my kids are minors, like they are now, guess what? I am their financial livelihood. So therefore, I need to protect my income until my kids are at least adults. Number 2, the time you don't need disability insurance if you have no more debt. So in America, I'm not sure if in Asia you guys have the same thing, but it's a mortgage. It's a mortgage. So in America, if you actually look at the deed that you buy your home, if you put a percentage down and you borrow the rest from the bank, my name is on the deed, but the bank's name is on the deed. If God forbid I get sick, injured, illness, disease, and I'm unable to pay my mortgage, guess what? I'm really, really sad. I'm in the hospital bed. And then after a period of time, I also lose my home and my wife and my kids are homeless. So my second scenario is, once you paid off all your debt, inclusive of your mortgage, you may or may not need disability insurance. And the third scenario is when you and I retire. When you and I retire, you may or may not need disability insurance, is because congratulations, you made it to the world called self-insure, if you choose to self-insure. Because if I get to retirement age, my net worth will probably be 10 times higher, and I have 20 million US dollars in a corner in my bank account or my investment account. Why do I need 50,000 a month? 50,000 a month, 600,000 a year. If I have 20 million in liquid assets spinning off 4%, that's already more. That's already more than my benefit. So what I would share with people is, once your kids are adults, once your mortgage or debt are paid off, and once you retire, you may or may not need disability insurance. But until you get to those milestones, if your income stops, you may or may not see those milestones completed. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? I have clients, when they work with me, they say, Rick, I want to put $5,000 a month into the stock market. Let's just say $5,000 a month. And I said, my team and I are happy to help you save, invest for the market and for your retirement. And they said, great. But before we do so, if you get sick or injured, unable to work, can you continue to put in the $5,000 a month? They say, well, no. I say, well, is it okay? I know your budget is $5,000 a month. Instead of putting all $5,000 a month into the stock market, into your retirement plan, is it okay to not put $5,000 and let's reduce it to maybe $4,900? And they're like, well, what am I going to do with the other $100? Take the other $100 to buy $5,000 of disability insurance or $10,000 of disability insurance, depending on their age, their income, and their benefit, to ensure that you can continue with this $5,000 a month if you get sick or you're unable to work. So remember, we, as much as you want to play offense and grow and build and accumulate wealth, we need to grow and protect you, because without you, there is no more wealth to grow and accumulate. So that's my idea number 2. And then I just tell people this when it comes to the importance of disability insurance, and it's super important because I have unfortunately seen more people get disabled than people passing away because of statistical likelihood. But I asked a client this recently. I said, Mr. and Miss Client, today, what is more important? You saving money, remember, today, is it more important for you to save money so that when you're 60 years old and you have retirement money? Or is today more important that you have money for yourself today? And they go, well, today it's more important for me to have money for myself today than for me to save for me having money when I'm 30 years older. So I said, Mr. and Miss Client, I notice you're putting about 10% of your salary, your today's salary, towards an investment or a retirement account for your 65-year-old self. So if I ask you to put 1% of your today's salary to protect your income for you today, wouldn't that make sense? You just told me that your retirement at 65, those dollars are important, but your dollars today is exactly what you need so that those dollars will be available when you're 65. But if you're willing to put 10% of your salary towards 65-year-old future dollars, why can't you budget just 1% of your salary to protect today's dollars? Does that make sense? It's about learning to walk before you run. Do not try to save for future dollars if you can't even save and protect current dollars. And my client says, that makes a lot of sense. So those are some ideas and language I share with our clients. Back to you, Lim.
Wow, you saved it all, man. So you said it all. But anyway, let me just share with you one simple idea that you can share with your clients in 1 minute, and you can open up millions in premiums and coverage, all right? So let me just switch my camera. I've got 3 cameras around my studio. Let me just switch. Okay, so if you can see this camera, let me just put it a bit more brighter so that everybody can see it properly, right? Okay, so how I'm going to do this is this. Let me just page out Benjamin's. Okay, so now I'm going to start with a blank piece of paper. This is what we call a napkin presentation. You can do it on a piece of paper. So I'm going to say, take example, Rick, if you are my customer, I'll say, Rick, now, do you agree with me that we need to actually basically, every one of us who is working, basically go to work, right? Correct? When we work, we make money. And this money is made to pay for our houses, for our cars, for our wives, for our children, right? And all these other expenses that comes to us right now. Whatever there's left from all these expenses is what we call, if you're in business, is what we call profit, right? And after you pay tax, that is what you call your net profit. If you don't spend this money, it becomes part of your retirement fund, right? So this is the process that everybody goes through in life. You go out every morning, you work, you make money, you pay for your expenses, whatever is left is profit, or your income tax, whatever is not spent is your retirement. But the assumption is this, Rick. The assumption is that you must continue to work indefinitely until you retire, until all these other dreams is fulfilled. That is a assumption. What happens one day if the person becomes sick and cannot work? What happens then? If you cannot work, do you think you can continue to make money? If you can't make money, what happened to your house? What happened to the car? What happened to your wife? What happened to your children? What happened to all your expenses? Let's not talk even about profit. There's no money to pay tax. There's no profit here. You will retire. You will retire poor. Straight away. Instantly. If you do not have a safety net. But what if I tell you now, Rick, I have a solution for you. We can give you a safety net. My company, Company A, can give you a safety net of, say, 2 million ringgit to cover the whole cost, just in case the person is sick, cannot work. This 2 million ringgit comes in and solve your problem. That you don't have to work anymore. You will still have enough money to finance all your necessary things to live a moderate, good living. And you will straight go on to retirement, but this time is different. You will retire wealthy, rich. So, Rick, I've calculated your expense and your income. Let's look at a proposal of, say, 3 million ringgit. Can I prepare that proposal for you? And I'll come back and see you in a day's time. All right? So that is my very simple sales idea, which I used on many occasions, on doctors, on engineers, on lawyers. Oh, what happened to Rick? I'm so sorry. Rick just ran out of, he'll come back. Okay, we just lost Rick, but it's okay. The live is still on, okay? Don't worry. Now, yeah, he's back. Sorry. It's okay, Rick. We lost you for a while. Now, so there is my simple sales idea I just presented. It is only 1 minute. If you don't have an A4 paper, you can use a napkin in a restaurant to do it. And I tell you, I've done this many, many times over my 10 years career. And I've sold, I think, more than 20 million ringgit worth of premiums throughout these 10 years. There's 1 year I sold particularly well to these doctors with this idea. And it works. Until today, it still works. Okay? It still works. Right? So use this simple idea. Where did I learn it from, Rick, you asked? I didn't learn it from MDRT, but I learned it from a leader who actually nurtured and coached many MDRTs. Right? So he is not an MDRT, but he has nurtured many MDRTs. Right. So that's my idea. Can we go straight into the question, Rick? Because I think we are running late in time.
We're doing great with teaching. So today we have only about 15, 16 minutes with time for questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to questions.
Let's go. I think. Okay, let's go with the first one by Joanne Pui. So, good evening. How to be giving a silent concept to a lawyer with family business? I think. Let me just answer that. I think the idea I gave you just now, you can use it on a lawyer, on a doctor with family business is just fine, because it works on them. They have to continue to work. Lawyer. Let me give you one example. Lawyer partners. These two lawyers are partners together. One had cancer. One is surviving. In 3 weeks' time, you know what happened? The surviving one kicked the one with cancer out of the law firm and tell her, you're out because you can't perform anymore. That is the facts of life. Did the one that had cancer, the lawyer bought life insurance? Of course not. What happened? Life happens right now. So professionals, users, you must buy enough life insurance, enough disability benefit, enough income replacement. Why? You never know, your partner will become human or will become a lovable person. You never know, right? Things happen. I tell you, Rick, your partner, when times are good, you're my sister. When times are bad, you're a burden. Right, Rick? Go ahead, Rick. You like to answer that?
Oh, I see. The problem is Joanne's question, and I'm trying to read it. I'm not understanding it. How to give a selling concept to a lawyer with family business. So I think your answer was perfect. Is I usually if I met a lawyer or a business owner, my questions is very different from Asia. I simply go, "Hi, Joanne. I was introduced you to Lim. I know today with our time together, my goal is to share with you concepts, ideas, resources like I've shared with Lim. This conversation is very introductory to determine if you and I should actually meet again. At the end of our meeting, if, for example, everything you're doing is excellent, I can't help you, we will reconfirm the decisions you've already made. And in the future, you can always reach out to me when you need any assistance as a resource. Or number two, based on the things you're doing, which is excellent, but if there's opportunities that we can help you plan more efficiently, better, my team and I will show you a recommendation in our follow-up meeting. Does that sound fair? And they say, yeah, that sounds fair. Then my question is very simple, Joanne. I just go, whether it's a doctor, lawyer, engineer, business owner, I say, what are your biggest financial goals? What are some of your concerns? What's most important for you and your family? That's it. That's it. I don't go with a product. I actually, if you look at the licenses, credentials, and the things I can offer clients, I think I can offer almost over 30 products and services. But imagine I go, Lim, nice to meet you. Here's all 30 of my products and services. Lim will be overwhelmed. Lim will be overwhelmed. Instead, I go into every meeting and say, Lim, what are your biggest goals, concerns? He goes, my children's education is very important. My wife wants to start another business. I want to retire not at 70, but at 60 or at 50 is very important. And I write all these things down. And then I come up with a financial plan, a recommendation. So I actually don't know what is a selling concept. I really don't. I just go and learn, listen, teach, and educate.
Okay. Rick, you have a add-on question by Joanne. She says, my clients does not worry about the business cost because it's a family business. The sale can come in automatically. Saying if not working, his income will also come in with salary. So this guy, this family, this lawyer who has a family business thinks that his family members is going to continue to pay him 30,000, 50,000 a month for doing nothing when you're sick. That your family is going to take care of you no matter what. Wow, Rick, you have anything to say about that?
You already answered that question. Joanne, I don't think your client, it's not a situation that's common, but it's a personal individual choice and situation. He or she, whoever that business owner client is, and sometimes they say that to an advisor, whether it's because they truly mean it or they just want them to go away.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes they see an advisor and advisors try leading with a product and say, hey, you need life insurance, you need chronic critical illness, you need disability. Oh, if you said that to me, I would say, you know what? My wife and I come from very wealthy families, and if I die, I don't need anything, because you don't want to lead with products. You need to get to understand them. So I don't know if your client truly means this, or if it's because your process make them want to say this to reject you and make you go away. But the answer is simple. If they truly mean this, good. Next, go find another business owner. Because the truth of the matter is your client is not realistic. Your client probably doesn't know what the real world is, probably never seen any Asian television. You know how many Asian television, whether it's Hong Kong, TVB, like when I was growing up, I was watching TVB, like every business, one person gets disabled, everyone passes away. The wife, the children, or the husband and the children get kicked out of the family. It's like so dramatic and tragic. You know what? Maybe you just thought of, wow, you live in a world that you've never seen things that are not real. Because the truth of the matter is, if you were my brother and you were my business and I'm paying you 25,000 a month US dollars, and you're showing up, you're helping me with my company, and you're doing things. Oh my God, you're disabled. Yeah, I will give you 25,000 a month because that's it. And if your client thinks that, they're delirious. It's like if it's raining, they think it's sunny. If it's sunny, they think it's snowing. Next. But they will say those things to you because they think that you will accept those. But the truth of the matter is, unfortunately, I tell people this: if you get disabled, if you pass away and you're a key employee, your business will suffer. Your company will suffer. Your loved one needs you, needs you. But you know what? Maybe your client's not a key employee. Your client literally sits in the company and just plays with his fingers. So you know what? Say, you're right. You stay or you leave. Same thing. The company can live on without you. So your client is worthless. It's not you not being able to explain it. Is that fair? So this is exactly how I talk to people. If a client says something like that to me that I find to be so out of ordinary, I just go next.
You know, today somebody texted me and asked for a discount on his policy. You know, and I told him, of all people, you are the one that asked for a discount. So-called financial guru want something. I said, you're disappointing. You can either buy directly from the insurance company that doesn't pay a commission, or if you want service, you buy from me, I pay you nothing. No rebate. It is illegal. I told him in the face, on the SMS, I told him it's disappointing of anybody, it is you that asked for a discount. You know. So, anyway, as I say, Rick,
I don't know what discount is. I don't. Yeah. That's terrible.
We are valuable. If they don't see the value in me, don't do business with me. Go ahead and do with somebody else. I don't need that, right?
I don't know. For many of our viewers, audience, one thing I would share with you that's very important is value yourself. I think truly when you go in to see a client, you need to have confidence, you need to have conviction, you need to believe in yourself. I actually have client meetings, maybe it's because I've been doing this 15 plus years. If I realize the client and I don't match personality, I walk away. I had a client that was going to give me $3 million to invest, but they said the same thing 5 times. They asked me the same question 5 times, and I answered it same and different 5 times. Got to a point where like maybe my ears started hurting. I just said, I don't think I'm the right advisor for you. I'll refer and introduce you to someone else. And they're like, but my coworkers work for you. But your coworkers understand me a little better. And I think just based on our personality, me and your coworkers match more, but me and you, I don't think I'm a good advisor. I walked away. It's okay to walk away from clients. I don't know if you guys understand. It's okay.
It's okay to walk away from clients.
Not one, and I promise you this for everyone that's watching, I, at least in my lifetime, and I truly believe it, there's no one client that will help you retire. Not one client will help you retire. I guarantee you. You one client, you won't retire. The point is, if a client works with the one right advisor, they will have a profound impact that will change their life. So if a client gives me an answer, like they say something silly to me, they might actually know that I will never talk to them again. I will never talk to them again, right? And it's all about abundance, right? I've shared this in the past. It's about abundance mentality. I have 10 meetings a day. If a client in one meeting says, Rick, if anything happens to me, my business can survive, live on. My wife can remarry. My kids can say hi to a new stepdaddy. I say, you're absolutely right. Have a wonderful day. Take care. I wish you all the best. I go to my next meeting. What am I going to do? Try to convince them something differently? I don't do that. I really don't do that.
Yep. So can we move on to the next question? Good one. The next question is this: how to initiate and bring up the conversation about income replacement with a target prospect? So maybe I'd like to take this. This is very Asian, the way he asked. I don't think you got to have this kind of question in America. Now, so how to bring up the conversation? You don't have to actually beat the bush to bring out the conversation. You just have to tell them, let me share with you a simple idea. 1 minute about replacing your income. Then they say, what is replacing my income? Let me share with you this 1 minute. Use my idea, share with them. 1 minute. Then you brought up the conversation about income replacement. There is no secret in bringing it up. Don't make it like, ooh, such a good thing. It has to have a grand entry. It's like you must have a prelude of a grand entry before you talk about income replacement. Then you must have an ending with it. Come on, no need. Go straight. Give me 1 minute. I share with you an idea. Let me show you how can I replace your income and make your family more comfortable. Brings up curiosity. Show napkin. 1 minute. Finish. Open up the case. Bring up your iPad, do the proper proposal, close the case, done. It can be done 10 minutes tops. All right? So do not have to how to just bring it up. All right? Share with you 1 minute, one idea. Rick, do you think it makes sense?
I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't, like you said, I don't understand the question, but if you said 10 minutes tops, Jeannie, I can make that prospect your client. Jeannie, if you make it to MDRT, if you don't go shake Lim's hand, he's going to give you 10-minute conversations so that everyone will become your client. You need to meet Lim. He's the legend.
10
He's a legend.
Rick, we're gonna stay in the same hotel, not the same room, in the same hotel. You guys we can hang out. If you guys serious, why not, right? But don't get offended if you say no, because sometimes we do get more dinners and lunches that we plan for. So, but no problem. Come and say hi to us. We would love to just spend 2 minutes with you, and talk to you. All right. So when you see us in Boston, come out and say hi. Rick loves to bike in the gym. You can actually haggle him in the gym if you want.
Yeah, that's the best time to.
I like to run outdoor. He likes to bike in the gym, right? So now Jasmine asked how to make a prospect understand how much they need. I think we answered that already, right, Rick? So I'm gonna skip that, right?
It's doing the math. It's the calculation of math.
So any tips in creating urgency to our clients for income replacement as an objection? As an objection, they have prepared the funds for education, they have no more loans, they have enough for retirement. Do you think there's any urgency? How do you create an urgency for clients for income replacement? Rick, you want to take that?
Sure. I think, Hazel, I don't know how old your client is, and I don't know how much net worth they have, but if they say, I don't need income replacement because all the funds I need for my children's education, I have no more loans, and I have enough for retirement, then just calculate and add it all up. So like for someone like in my world, if a client says I need 10,000 US dollars a month at 60 years old, assuming we live to 90, that's 10,000 times 12 months is 120,000 times 30 years is 3.6 million. Then if they say I want to take care of my 3 kids and each child is 500,000 US dollars to send them to private school or Ivy League, so 500,000 times 3 kids is 1.5 million. 1.5 million plus the 3.6 million is 5.1 million. If they have no mortgages and they say, hey, Rick, well, I have 5.1 million in my bank account. Look. And I say, yeah, you are probably a person that can self-insure. But do you want to self-insure? Do you want to self-insure? And I'll give you a great example. I can self-insure many of the things I have too. But the thing is, why would you give up 100% of something when you can just use 1% of something, right? Like, I'll give you a great example. I have real estate properties and I have tenants that are paying rent. One of my tenants is paying me 5,000 US dollars a month, right? But I could easily go, well, if anything happens to me, I could take my tenants 5,000 US dollars a month. My wife and I and my kids need 5,000 less benefit. But why would I do that? Instead, I would take the 5,000 US dollars a month I get from my tenant, and I would take 100 of the 5,000, and I would use the 100 and buy a $5,000 policy, so that if anything happens to me, I could still get the 4,900 of rental income and the 5,000 disability. It's just based simple math. Like, why would I give up 100% of something when I can use 1% to protect the other 99%? I think at the end of the day, if your client doesn't understand risk and leverage, then maybe they don't need insurance. They should self-insure. But the problem is, and I sincerely mean this, and maybe because I was born and raised as an only child, I only give a client 3 chances. I explain to them 3 times. After 3 times, they don't take my advice, I move on. If something does happen to them and they get disabled, they lose their home, they don't retire, you know what? I do feel bad, but I don't feel bad enough because I tried everything in my God-given talent and ability to try to change their life. But at that point, I can't feel bad for them because, like I said, New York City alone has 10 million people. If I run into one person, that one person don't want to take my advice, I'm going to talk to the other millions of people that should deserve to take my advice. All right. We can't save everyone. We can't help everyone. But the people that deserve to be helped, we will help. So after I explain it and after I do the math and the math makes sense and they still decide to do that, sure, you're right. Take care. And I just move on. I'd rather spend 30 minutes networking and then talking to other clients or working with new clients than spend 30 minutes convincing someone that they should or should not need what they want. Like, why would I do that?
Yep.
It's like trying to find water from a rock. I'd rather walk days to find an ocean. I'd rather walk days and find an ocean to find water than try to bleed water from a rock. If that makes any sense.
No point.
Yeah, it's like if I tell you have a cow, I could use the milk to protect the cow, but you say no. If anything happens to me, slaughter my cow. I go, all right. Do you think slaughtering a cow is better than using the milk to protect the cow? Then fine.
Let me just put it this way. What Rick says just now is very important. Spend time finding the right prospect is more important than wasting time convincing the wrong one.
Yeah, and if you think about it, when you spend too much time talking to people like that, it's draining. It's draining. Sometimes when I talk to people like that, I feel like I'm dying. Like, I don't know if you guys heard, I'm coming out with a book called Unleash. Live every day like you'll die tomorrow. Live every day like you'll die tomorrow. If I'm talking to Lim today and I'm trying to save him and his family's life by teaching him how to achieve financial freedom, and he keeps blah, 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 blahing me, I say, good, I'm dying tomorrow, Lim. I don't care what you say. I'm going on next. So I live every day like I will die tomorrow. I will only spend time on people that deserve to be spent time. And I will not spend time on people that I don't think they deserve it, right? And honestly, people always ask, like, Rick, Lim, how did you achieve the financial freedom that you have? It's because we take our own advice. Like, we take our own advice. Like, if people want what we have, but they don't take our advice, they deserve to be where they are. They deserve to be where they are, respectfully. I do not have any regrets or doubts. Maybe it's because of my personality.
Thank you, Rick. Last question is this. Let's say after a presentation, they say they got 1 to 2 million on hand already. I don't need it. What do you say? For me, it's very simple. I will go back, I'll come back and open up again and ask him, do you think 1 to 2 million is enough for you? You are making 2 to 3 million a year, and you're covering yourself 1 to 2 million. It is enough for 50% of your income? Is it going to replace your income for the next 10, 20 years or not? Is your family is going to suffer by receiving 1 million of claims? Anything happens to you and spread out in 20 years, 50,000 a year. Do you think it's fair? Go back and tell them, do not be afraid to ask for the deal, to ask to open the case. Don't get intimidated, all right? So thank you so much for staying. You know, all 60, 80 of you or 100 over of you that watched the show, it is great to have you, and you give us so much energy to come back again and again and again and again to do this every month. Now, we plan to do the next show in April, May, but I tell you, in June, it's going to be very interesting because you're going to do our show in America, in Boston, live from Boston. All right? So I'll see you next month. Same thing at the last Friday of every month. This is the Gratitude Talk Show. I am Renan, signing out. Thank you, MDRT. I wish you all the best.